no one on this world is perfect. Playing League of Legends, you will surely run into many of people who are not perfect. The difficulty about trying to assess good and bad is also being able to understand that you yourself are not perfect. But with not being perfect, not having perfect play, not having perfect decision making, the trick to the matter is learning how to adapt, learning how to change, learning how to evolve. I sound like Kha'Zix right now, really, but learning how to learn from your mistakes. Um, if you listen to high elo streamers, high elo players, they will tell you over and over again: watch replays, review your games, watch your replays, review your games. But and that's not saying that that's a bad idea. I know when people say "but," that's normally. But what I'm going to continue to say is, what happens when you decide to watch a replay, you may not see your own mistakes unless they're egregious. You may think, man, I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was farming my lane, and they went off and they died. You may not see the opportunity that if you had rotated or if you had went to the objective, that you may have been able to help your team in a way that would have that would have been able to push your lead even further. So when we talk about learning from your mistakes, when we talk about learning from your own individual gameplay, it's that little bit of self discipline and training that you're going to need to be able to evolve and grow in the game. But with that being said, to learn from your mistakes, you must make mistakes. So that's why playing tons and tons and tons of games is never bad, as long as you're learning from every game. You can go 0 and 100, you can lose 5,000 games across your career in League of Legends, but as long as you're learning from those losses, once you figure out all the things that you've done wrong, all the things that you've had difficulties with, and all the things that you've struggled with, you will then be able to grow as a player, grow individually, and progress through your rank, your MMR. You'll be able to push your own boundaries and gain things that you may have thought that you weren't able to succeed and obtain. And at the end of the day, you're going to continue to progress as far as League of Legends is concerned within the game. Um, Next point when it comes to understanding is that form of review. So if you are going to review your games, yes, you have to look at it in different metrics. You have to look at it in your small picture. You have to look at it in your big picture, and then of course hindsight being 2020, you have to be able to analyze and diagnose where you went wrong or different opportunities that could have occurred. Like I mentioned earlier, whether it be aiding your teams in a way that may not be individually self-beneficial to you, but overall for the team, for the greater goal, being able to push in and push objectives and be able to, win. Uh, Reviews are difficult because a lot of times, like I said, you have your own blinders up, you have your own shades up. It's very difficult to see the mistakes that you're making individually. So what you may need to do is you may need to have someone else look at your review. Maybe not say, hey, can you watch this whole 37-minute game? But hey, if you could watch this team fight, or if you could watch what happened here and give me an idea of what you think I could have done differently. It does help if that friend is a higher MMR or higher ELO or generally a better player, because they're going to be able to give you insight that you may not see, right? Like, I know when I play with my group of friends that are better than I am, I take what they say very seriously because they've been where I've been and they've been able to excel and get past that. So for me, I need to be open minded about what they're saying for their criticism, as long as it's not just like disrespectful or anything. And my friends aren't gonna like disrespect me. They want me to succeed. They want me to do better. So the criticism that they are gonna provide for me should be helpful and should be able to help me progress and get those gains. Um, but yeah, having that outside view. I know a lot of people also get coaches. There are a lot of services that provide free coaching services. Like if you go on Reddit, if you go on Facebook, there are a bunch of groups that, and even more so now with Discords that have free coaches. They have paid coaches where if you want to subscribe to a service or pay an individual player, like let's say you are a uh, Tryndamere One Trick, you can have Fogged for the Win 2 You can pay him, and he will coach you for however much his rate is. You know, you're going to pay a lot of money for Frogs for the Win too. But the quality of your training may be way higher. Someone like Nice, who has done these 100 games to diamond runs since 2000, and I'm going to say like 2014. Man is a beast when it comes to climbing. He understands solo queue. He understands what it takes to grind and climb. And learning from him would be very, very valuable. But likewise, any coaching that you get or any assistance or help that you get in reviewing your games and learning from your mistakes will, if you take that and apply it to the games that you're in, your future games, you should be able to grow from them. And that comes to the next point of accountability. The accountability of the matter is being able to admit, yes, it's fun to go, yeah, I killed that, I won that game, I carried. My team, without me, my team would be, wouldn't have won that, or if I didn't do this, do that. That's great. That's a good self-importance and a self-esteem to have. But also, you have to have the same accountability where you understand, damn, I messed up. I didn't rotate. I didn't contribute as much as I could to that play. I didn't land my skill shots. Why did I land my skill shots? I wasn't mentally prepared. I didn't think of the combos. I didn't understand the abilities of the other champion. A lot of the times, that's interactions within this game, right? Here's the thing. League of Legends has 150 champions. Each champion has a minimum of, 5 abilities, right? And some abilities have actives and passives, and you have to try to figure out how these active and passives and abilities and summoner spells all work with one another. You know what I mean? So it's not to say that you're bad at the game if you don't know these things, but you have to understand that when things occur, you have to be big enough to say, okay, yeah, I screwed up. I messed up there. I need to figure out why that happened. I need to figure out why I was not able to succeed where I thought I could have, and then to evaluate and see whether you would be able to succeed later on, and see whether you'd be able to continue to press forward, Last but not least, going back to the whole sounding like Kha'Zix things, adaptation and change. You're going to want to be able to say, okay, let's say I'm playing mid lane or top lane. Top lane is a great example because a lot of, especially old school top lane players, know how to play like Darien, know how to play like, who else is up there? Dyrus. These players that were just kind of like smash mouth, either run over the game or get run over. And you have to think, these guys had to adapt their play for professional play, let alone in solo queue. So being able to say, okay, well, maybe this whole running it at them might not work. Yes, there are outliers, like Hissention is an outlier when it comes to that level of play where you can just continuously run at your opponent and for some reason not get perma abused. He does in some games, but his climb and his progression continues to show that he knows how to at least climb on with a negative win rate. He knows how to climb with a negative KDA, or not negative, but like a really poor KDA, versus someone who's a little bit more, might have a really good KDA. I would assume someone like the Shy or someone, Broken Blade, have really, really good KDAs and have the ability to kind of play in that in and out, because those players have seen I needed to adapt. I needed to change my play style to better suit my team and to better suit my chances of climbing, my chances of winning, my chances of growing within this game. And those players, of course, have they're challenger, they're professionals, they're high elo players. So clearly, they've taken that and pushed beyond what your average League of Legends player has played. And just because you're an average player doesn't mean that you can't learn and you can't grow and you can't progress. It's not about going from bronze to challenger. It's about going from bronze 2 to bronze 1, from bronze 1 to silver 4, from iron 4 to iron 3. It might even be even smaller than that. It might be from going from 10 losses and 1 win to 11 losses and 2 wins. You know, it's a grind. It takes time. It's difficult, but it's incremental, and you build brick by brick. You know, like you said, you build a house brick by brick. You don't just, unless we're airdropping houses now and they just land, you know, Fortnite style. But you build a house brick by brick, and you want your foundation to be good. If you don't, you know, so that way, if you're able to build that strong foundation, you're able to apply, adapt, and change things, that new information that comes in, right? What else was I gonna say? Oh, at the end of the day, the game, and League of Legends is one of those games that punishes mistakes very heavily. There's no denying in League of Legends, so when you die, you are ultimately giving your opponents more money to then effectively beat you harder. That's why most League of Legends games, end of games money chart, eventually end up going like that, or they start scaling way out of range, because it's not like, oh, I killed you or you killed me, you got 300 gold, and then I killed you and I got my 300 gold back, and now we're back at a net zero. That money just keeps on escalating. Now, yes, there's shutdown mechanics and comeback mechanics within the game to try to help people get back into a game, but for the most part, yeah, there's definitely a exponential cost to falling behind and not being able to learn from your mistakes in League of Legends. With that being said, thanks again for dropping by. Feel free to click like and subscribe. I'm trying to do these more frequently, so if you want, you can hit the notification bell, so that way you do get the videos when they pop up. Thanks again for stopping by. Feel free to stop by the streaming 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, appreciate you guys. It's me, King. Peace.